Testing. All right. You can cut out that other.
Hey, yo, aim. Yeah. Run it up, Blondo.
Hey, see y'all from Texas, where we sit riding swangers and put diamonds in our necks.
What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this afternoon? We are here again with HBCU tonight, afternoon edition, my noon edition show. Make sure that you like the stream. Make sure that you comment, share, most of all, subscribe to the channel. Get everything that you want through HBCU Overdrive. And if you are on Twitter, since we broadcast on Twitter also, make sure that you follow me on Twitter and also hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. So we got a lot to cover in such a short amount of time because I have to pretty much work today. And as everybody know, gotta go to work. Got to go to work. But let's go ahead and jump. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, as you see the title of the show for today, it is the Pink Slip. The Pink Slip Bandit has came and he struck again. I pretty much wanted to say for those who have been let go and been relieved of their duties, Godspeed, and hopefully everything that you find everything that you can, and hopefully you land back on your feet. Excuse me. I should know about this because I've been in this situation plenty of times where I have lost a job or two. But it all comes down to how you go, how you jump back, how you bounce back. How do you bounce back? So let me go ahead and get this out. Just put this so let me go. There we go. So let's go ahead and get to it, man. Pink Slip Wednesday came about, and y'all know I said this on Sunday. I think it was Sunday or was it one of the days? I forgot I was out live. It was Black Monday came through, and we saw some coaches get let go. Of course, the first to get let go was Bubba McDowell. He was relieved of his duties at Prairie View. Then all of a sudden, we seen, excuse me, we seen Connor Maynard get the pink slip, and out now. Since yesterday was Wednesday, pink slip Wednesday. What's up? What's up? What's up, Ken? Uh, Pink Slip Wednesday. We have Coach Kendrick Wade, who was relieved of his duties from Mississippi Valley, and Coach Vincent Brown, aka The Undertaker, relieved of his duties from North Carolina A&T. Also, coaches relieved of their duties from their job was Adrian Jones from Shaw University. What's the kid, the guy's name? The head coach from Elizabeth City State. Let's see, the big one, of course, and we all know Big Worm, aka Dawson Otis from Norfolk State. Lee Holt, I forgot about Lee Holt yesterday from Delaware State. So I would suggest that there is there's going to be a trend coming in the next couple of weeks. Yesterday was signing day, early signing day for kids who wanted to sign early so they could go ahead and get a jump ahead of their competition early. But these two I really want to talk about. Also, let me go back. Also, who was shown the pink slip out at Grambling was offensive coordinator Eric Dooley. And that was something that I kind of said in my little small soliloquy as far as when it comes to Grambling. Grambling needs to kind of put their foot down and let Mickey Joseph run the program and not have outside influence like Doug Williams and Shaq Harris try to convey what he needs to do, what he don't need to do. I think he's been a head coach in the capacity before, and I would give my trust to what he can do as far as putting Grambling back on the map. Now, if I'm Coach Wade, where do I go from here? Because there was a lot of speculation yesterday that people wanted to know, was he relieved of his duties, or was he did he just decide to step aside himself? In which, when you say you step aside, basically something going on. But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. He said nobody made Mickey hire or fire Dooley. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. I just put it out there. I just feel like he just needs to get a hold of his own program and not have outside influences. Not saying that you can, because you got your foot in the program with Grambling. Coming from me as an outsider, and when I'm looking at it, it's like you have too many. It's too many hands inside of the cookie jar at Grambling. Like, it's too many hands inside of the cookie jar. And then it did just start with with Mickey. It didn't start with Hugh. It did start with Five. I mean, it started to me. I feel like it started with Fibes. That's just my opinion. Um, that's just my opinion. So in the SWAC, the longest tenured coach now in the Southwestern Athletic Conference is Eddie Robinson Jr. at Alabama State. Wow. Wow. He just finished his third year on going to his fourth year. I don't know what they said about the Joseph era about Mickey, but I don't know. I guess just me per se is to me. I think they kind of put they still have their hands in the cookie jar in a sense, if you get what I'm saying. And maybe not. Maybe that they don't say anything, but it's something that you have to look at, like who made the hires and everything. But let's go back to Valley and Coach Wade. Coach Wade in his 2 years, that damn fly is getting on my damn nerves. Getting on my damn nerves. To let you know I ain't have my air conditioner on. But anyway, let's go back to Valley. Kendrick Wade was 2-21 in his 2 years at Mississippi Valley State. To me, that's not enough time to get a program to the liking of his. And let's just be honest, he still had some kids from the Dancy era that was still on his on his roster. And of course, it takes to me. We all know it takes at least 3 years to cycle out the old roster from the old regime and bring it in the new roster and what you want to have for your regime coming up. Now, we talked about this. I think we talked about this the other day. And this is a question right here. What is Valley's goal? And this is a good one. Things are not going to change no matter who they hire until they restructure their recruiting and budget. I don't think it's more of the recruiting and budget, but it's more of the administration. I think it's more to the administration than what we see with other administrations, because you got to understand, Hakeem McClellan was their AD. For some reason, he was there for 2 years, did what he did, and he jetted out. Like he bounced out. Like he didn't bat not one eye. He did not bat not one eye when he left Valley. He turns around, he goes to Jackson State, and he has a new role within the athletics department at Jackson State. But to me, I'm be honest with you, Mississippi Valley's administration is the issue. Oh, Miss Natasha, you didn't miss nothing. I just started. I just got on here. I just started. Only been here for 15 minutes. But Mississippi Valley's administration is in the way. Do you want to have a, a at least a competitive program, you know, that can at least get you at least 4 or 5 wins a year? Because quite frankly, if you didn't have the backing of this coach, then what makes you think you're gonna have the backing of the next coach? I just wanna I just want know what is the issue, the situation with Mississippi Valley, the administration. And this is just not through football. To me, this is through all sports, through all athletic sports on Mississippi Valley State University's campus. Uh, and to me, to me, when it comes to athletics, when it comes to a successful athletics program, when it comes to a successful football program, you have to have competent people at the top. And when I say at the top, it starts at the president position. You have to have somebody that knows that, look, football is the end all be all that's going to drive some revenue to our university. And you got to understand that without a competent president and administration in place, you're going to continue to have this revolving door where you have maybe a coach that be there for 2 years. What can a coach do in 2 years? What can a coach do in 2 years with a football program? They really can't do anything. A lot of people say it's the prime effect, it's the TC effect. I beg to differ, because the difference between prime and everybody else now is that prime had to fast track his way to FBS. He had to fast track his way to Power 5. That's the reason why he did what he did. He did not get kids from the state of Mississippi. He got kids from all over. And that's just because of his name. It wasn't because of the school. It was just because of his name. It was just because of his name. Not because of the school. Now I know some of these kids under prime came to Jackson State for the school, but majority of them came for Deion Sanders. And kid, let me I'm gonna put a government name out there. I'm gonna pronounce it for you, because you was like on your show, why you put his government name out there? His whole government name is Deion Lewin Sanders Sr. So he had to fast track himself so he could get to the next level. Now with TC just basically built the program from really nothing. when like we said, we talking about 70, 80 players gone. He had, the only two left on the coaching staff was him and Coach O. Um, he had to go and get a whole new staff. He had to go and get a whole new team. We were competitive in his first season at 7-4. I call that a success, right? I call that a success. Even though his goal is to go to the Celebration Bowl. His goal is to go to the SWAC championship game. That should be everybody's goal in the SWAC. Your goal is to go to the SWAC championship game, to be a representative of the East or the West Division. Your goal is to win the SWAC and go to the Celebration Bowl. A lot of these administrations don't understand what type of ramifications that comes with this, especially when you come about as winning a SWAC championship. Like we said, you know how much money comes into it when you're the host team for the championship game. Then if you win it, do you know how much money you're gonna get from the payout of a bowl game? Some people just don't. I mean, some administrations just don't get it. They don't get it. And I'm just saying that with anybody, but I'm specifically saying this to Mississippi Valley. You had a young head coach, pretty much in his mid-30s. Let's keep it a buck. In his mid-30s, who can relate to these kids. What he said on that coach's call last week, I cannot keep FBS transfers at in my program because they are used to a certain type of way of, in a sense, living. Right? Let's just keep it a buck. FBS transfers have a certain way of how they live. They want the glitz, the glamour. They want the what Channing Crowder says, the stone crab in the dining hall, and they want all this, that, and the third. But in actuality, when you go to a university like Mississippi Valley, you're not gonna get that. And it's a rude awakening for some of those kids that come in from the FBS, and then they only there for 1 year for a semester, and then they leave out. So he had to go, I understand what he had to do. He had to go through the D2 ranks. He had to go through the JUCO process. He had to go through the high school process. I'd rather do it like that than to get somebody that don't want to be there for more than 1 year. Like, I'd rather have somebody that want to be there for 2-3 years. Learn how to be a young man, play the game that you love, get a full education, and come out as a productive citizen. Because maybe you might be able to make it to the NFL from Mississippi Valley. It has been done before, but at the same time, kids got to realize that some are not going to be playing football at the college. What is your backup plan? And what I was hearing from him is that he was teaching these kids that you have to have a backup plan. You have to have a plan B. You have to have a plan C. You have to have a lot of plans in place to make it in this society right here. And the way, I don't know, whatever else comes out, it'll come out. But at the same time, this man was doing a hell of a job. Now, the wins and losses don't correlate to what you saw this past season, but at the same time, this team was competitive. You didn't see them lay down. You didn't see them. You didn't see them put their heads down. You didn't see them, just give up. These kids had fight in them. Um, and of course, one knock on them was being on the road. They only had 4 home games. Being on the road for 8 games is diabolical in my mind. So at the end of the day, I think y'all, Mississippi Valley, you kind of made a mistake. And alums, you gotta be real with yourself of what type of program that you have for Valley and what is the expectations, right? Everybody's expectation should be let's win the SWAC. Everybody's expectation should be, God damn fly. Everybody's expectation should be let's go to the Celebration Bowl. But in Valley's case, your expectation should be let's win 3 or 4 games and see what we get for next season. If you win 3 games, if you want 1 game, that's cool. That's cool. It's cool. It's always an adjusted period. You win 2, that's a little bit of a step up. You win 3, it's kind of an improvement. You win 4, it's like, damn, I didn't know could be this good. You win 5, it's like, okay, we need to see what we can do to keep this momentum going. So at the end of the day, the alums for Valley need to kind of be realistic with themselves about who their next coach is, about what you need to do with this program. I know if Ken is still in here, Ken Rashad is still in here. I know he said something about Valley need to go D2. I don't know. I just think Valley needs to get a president or a chancellor or a provost or whatever, however their what their leadership rank is, and let them be a progressive leader and make sure they understand what they have in front of them, especially on from football standpoint. Okay. And that's with Coach Wade right there. And like I said, Coach Wade is a good, he was a good head coach. He taught these kids. He, this season, he had, like I said, tomorrow was talking about, he had a 1,000-yard receiver with Nathan Rembert. He had a quarterback that had, he was shaky in the beginning of the season, and towards the middle, he started to come out and started to be a little bit of a threat. You saw the defense was improving every game, and then like I said, it culminated with a victory in Bragg against FAMU, where they really dominated the game from start to finish. But even though that too, they played with a heavy heart because of the simple fact they had one of their own players who was killed in a car accident. They was playing with heavy hearts. They was playing for their fallen teammate. But at the same time, they went out there and competed every game. Even in the Nichols game where they threw, I think it was 6 interceptions. They were still out there trying try to play hard. The Lamar game, if it wasn't for bogus calls from the referees, Valley would have won that game. Even with excuse me, even with the game against Alabama A&M at the end of the season, they was in the game for majority of the game until the fourth quarter, and then A&M just kind of poured it on. But what I'm saying is, the team that you had this season is a year old, was a year older, and they basically play for each other, play for their coach. So you're getting rid of Coach Wade, to me, is not going to put it's not going to do anything until you as a leadership in the administration get on board and realize we need to make sure that whoever the next coach is, we give him the necessary funds and equipment and whatever to make sure that they are successful, that they represent Mississippi Valley to the fullest. So so that's pretty much my spiel on Mississippi Valley. Now, I had to take a drink on that. With Vincent Brown at A&T, this is twofold. You had a head coach who was, to me, was not, in a sense, a head coach. He is an offensive coordinator at best. I mean, defensive coordinator at best. He is a position coach at best. All right. He was way in over his head. But let's get to the leadership. Chancellor Martin and A.D. Hilton pretty much set back A&T for the next 5 to 10 years in football. Just football. I mean, we ain't talking about the other sports, because the other sports are kind of doing a decent job in the conference. But at the same time, they should have never left the MEAC. And to me, they should have never. Left the Big South. For one, you done spent money paying exit fees from 2 conferences, and then you go into the CAA, and then you find out you are way in over your head. You find out you are way in over your head. And to me, the AD, since Chancellor Martin is retired now, this is all on the AD. AD Hilton. What are you going to do? Who are you going to hire? And are you going to give him the necessary the necessary resources for him to be successful? So, like I said, you should. Here's the thing: you should have never let the Big South, cause you shouldn't. But also, this is, to me, it's always saying sometimes folks think that the white man's ice is colder, and it ain't. It ain't. The white man's ice ain't colder. It's just there melting away like everything else. Um, and you know, you wanted to follow Hampton. You want to go play. You talked about the issues with the travel in the MEAC, going all the way to Delaware and going far south as to Daytona to play Bethune and Florida A&M and stuff like that. But at the same time, you go into a conference where you got to go all the way to Maine. You got to play a Rhode Island. You know, you got to go to Philadelphia to play Villanova. Which I mean, to me, it don't. To me, that it really did make sense right there to me either. That don't make sense logistically as far as travel go. It still didn't make sense. Should have just stayed in the MEAC. You know, once the Florida schools left, you should have just stayed where you at in the MEAC. You don't have to go to Florida. You're gonna spend majority of your time between South Carolina, going all the way to Dover, and going to DC. That's it. And that's just for football. Football. It's just football. Okay. Um, we heard, I heard rumblings and I kind of alluded to this person that they needed to get. It was they needed to get Sean Gibbs from Fort Valley. Now, if they go ahead and do that, that means that we're going to have a appreciate you, Miss Kim. We're going to have a you'll have an issue. You have another opening if that happens with the Fort Valley situation. All right. To me, if I am Mississippi Valley, I mean, if I'm North Carolina A&T, I am going after Sean Gibbs. He comes up from that Broadway tree. He knows North Carolina like the back of his hand. He did graduate from North Carolina Central, but he was on the staff with Broadway and with Sam Washington in the heyday of A&T winning Celebration Bowls. But what are you going to do for him? What are you going to do for him? Are you going to let him do his job, or are you going to let him? Are you going to be micromanaging him now? Let's see some other openings. I got the full picture. Prairie View. I talked about that. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Shaw University. Just got to know that Raleigh, knowing that you got to compete with the North Carolina State, because it's in Raleigh. It's what are you gonna do with that? And Alabama A&M. Forgot about Lane College in Tennessee. Is kind of like in the same situation with Mississippi Valley. Delaware State is kind of in the same situation like a Mississippi Valley. Elizabeth City State, they want to try to restore what they did in the 2010s. Norfolk State has never always been a football school. They only, from what I heard, they only had like 6 winning seasons in their whole program history. Um, and that's a damn shame right there. Um, so let's start off with Lane. Lane, you just this is coming from Uncle Sid. Lane need to take their ass to Memphis, find them a head coach out of Memphis, out of the high school ranks. Uh, well, he said preferably Kirby. Find them out of the high school ranks. It's not too much of a big job, but you need to go and recruit that Memphis area. You need to recruit the South Haven. You need to go to Olive Branch. Uh, do not try to tiptoe yourself into the Nashville area. You can, but it's not going to be an easy way to get the kids to come to your school. Um, Byron Brown had to do with what he had. He was it, like I said, Lane is in the same situation like Mississippi Valley. Byron Brown was in the same situation like a Kendrick Wade. So unless the school is going to give them some sort of resources, this job is just going to be a pit stop for you until you can find something that's going to be a little bit better. The Delaware State job, for them to pull the trigger on Lee Holt after 2 seasons is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to let go of Lee Holt after 2 seasons. But what are you gonna do? Your recruiting ground is, of course, I mean Delaware, and then you have um, the Philadelphia area because you're not that far from Philadelphia. Um, you can go into Eastern Pennsylvania into to get to attract players, but from what I heard, your high school football is not that great up there either. And I'm not just saying it because I feel like Texas is the football, is the football hotbed. And we are kings of football in the South, but I don't know what y'all do up in Delaware. um, this is an interesting one because Delaware State has had a up and down, up and down, relationship when it comes to wins, losses, and stuff like that. To me, it was said yesterday by Chris Stevens, your best coach was Rod Milstead, and you ran him out. You ran him out. Elizabeth City State is one of those, like I said, they try to get back to their winning ways from what they did in the 2010s. They kind of fell off on hard times, but I think they could. It just depends on who they get as a coach on the Division II level. Um, Norfolk State. Norfolk State, there is rumblings out of Norfolk that what Michael Vick is interested in this job and might become the next head coach. That's just speculation. That's just rumblings. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. I'm just kind of putting it out there. Okay. Um, to me, if I'm Norfolk State, and if you want to get a coach that's still in the Virginia area, it's two coaches. I'm gonna go ask. I'm going to go ask Dr. Alvin Parker over at Union, or I'll go over to Richmond, over to Ettrick. Let's say it's Ettrick, and go talk to Henry Fraser III. at Virginia State. And if not, make your way down to North Carolina. There's a guy over there on Beatty Ford Road by the name of Maurice Flowers at Johnson C. Smith, and see what type of turnaround that he did this season. It really started last season. I would just go down there and talk to him. And let's not forget some other coaches that are very successful with, where they at. Bobby Roan over at Florida Memorial. Shout out to him for following me on Twitter. He's doing a hell of a job with the Lions down there in Miami Gardens. Let's talk about the head coach over at Langston. Who's doing a good job, who's doing a great job in the Sooner Athletic Conference. There's another coach. I forgot the name of him, but he's at Texas College. He turned their program around also. Texas College is a school where you really put them on your schedule for a homecoming. And he's turned that program around. I think they went 7-3 this past season. Over in North Tyler, Texas. So I would talk to him, and then I think Chris said something about, Chris, but Jared yesterday was like, if you don't want to do the retreads of these coaches, of these old head coaches, how about going into somebody, going and talking to a coordinator? I got a person that really wants a job, and he is a true defensive coordinator to his heart, but he feels like he's ready to be put in that spotlight. And that's one Anton Sewell, defensive coordinator over at Morgan State. Give him a shot. All right. I would say as far as Alabama A&M, I would say go talk to Ryan Lewis over at Alabama State. I know that's your rival, but hey, what he's done with that defense is second to none. And somebody was like, well, somebody told me, well, we don't want no D2 coach, but damn it, if I'm AD Bryant for Alabama A&M, I'm taking my black ass down towards the Birmingham area, preferably Fairfield, and going talking to a Sam Shade, one Sam Shade. Look what he done with the Miles Golden Bears, right? Just look what he done with them in a few years that he's been there at the helm. He's done a hell of a job. They won a playoff game this season. They won a playoff game this season. They won the playoff. They won a playoff game this season. And then, of course they lost to Valdosta. They lost to Valdosta. But still though, they won a playoff game. They beat Carson Newman. They could have beat them to sleep, but it was a close game. But they won the playoff game. Some Alabama A&M haven't had a winning season since Akil Glass left the program. Since that 5-0 COVID SWAC championship that you had. And yes, Chennisberry was a Division II coach with Benedict. And look what he done within his first year at South Carolina State. Don't think that it can't be done. Kansas State coach. It was a D3 coach. Um, Caleb DeBoer. Caleb DeBoer, the Alabama coach, was a D3 coach, was coach in Division 3. Went over and took over a Washington program and just skyrocketed them. I need one of them fly swatters. The one that your mama used to whoop your ass with. And he's at Alabama. And that's true. Everybody ain't gotta have a South Carolina State to take over in a conference where everyone is struggling but one program. Yeah, a lot of programs need to take a deep breath. So like I said, the Prairie View opening. Bubba McDowell, damn it, Bubba McDowell is he probably finished at University of Miami, but damn it, that man is a Prairie View alum. I don't care what anybody say. He been there he was there since 2011. I mean that he was on the staff with Frazier. He was on the staff with Willie. He was on the staff with Dooley. And then he got the job. Went to won the SWAC West, went to a SWAC championship. Try to go back and do it again. They just fell into a buzzsaw. So when it comes to Texas, and I've always said this, and Ed gonna be here go Ed. He gonna hear you talk about Texas now. To me, you have to get a coach that knows the state of Texas, that knows the 4 major metropolitan areas. Right? Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Texas, Austin, San Antonio. And if you want to go further west, El Paso, yes. Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to mention Texas, Ed. Don't hate, appreciate. Don't hate, appreciate. Who would you recommend? Who would you recommend for the Prairie View job? Who would you recommend for the Prairie View job? Who would you recommend for the Prairie View job? We got Fred McNair's one name that's coming around. You got, I mean, who would you recommend for the job? You got facilities there. You got the like you got top-notch facilities. You got a recruiting hotbed in the state. Hey, OG, if you ain't busy, man, I'm about to send this link out in the chat. Come on up. Let's have a discussion. Come on up. Let's have a discussion. To me, like I said, you got to get somebody who knows the state. Got to get somebody who can get into the high schools and recruit. All right. It's like I don't care about celebrity coaches, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I said this yesterday. I put it I put it in the chat yesterday, or was it the other day? I think it was on Monday. Somebody kept bringing up Avery, and I know Ken was about to have PTSD hearing that name. From him hearing that name all the time. Yeah, I'm about to bring. What's going on, man?
Oh, what's good with you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Welcome to the show again.
All right.
So let's get into these. Let's get into these high. Let's get into the firings. Let's start off with the recent one from yesterday, Mississippi Valley. Let's start off with there. What do you think about that letting go Coach Wade? It only been there 2 years. What do you think Valley needs to do when it comes to the next head coach that they hire?
Number one, I think the firing was wrong.
Okay.
Number two, it's a hard sell to get anybody, player or coach, into Inabita.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard sell, man. And for you,
right.
I don't know if the alumni did this, boosters or the AD, but whoever did that, what are you really gaining? You have a problem with recruiting. You have a problem with your facilities. You got a list of problems. Now, you did this on early signing day.
Yeah.
You barely getting any recruits as it is. Now, you got to try to find a coach. And if I'm a coach, I'm not going to lie to you. Much as I love the swag, I'm going to pump my brakes. I'm going to the SIAC or the MEAC or somewhere else where hopefully I'm guaranteed to get 3 or 4 years. The swag right now, if you ain't winning in 2 years, see you. Look at it. That's why I put in the comment. In the last 2 years, eight different head coaches have been fired.
Right.
So that's how I am with Valley right now. I don't know what they were thinking. You had the biggest upset at not only SWAC, probably FCS. You ended a 23-game home winning streak. Probably one of the best teams in FCS.
Right.
And you can't win them all with the players and the facilities that you have, but you building on that.
Right.
But now you back to ground zero. So who can I get to come into Itabena to motivate a young man not to go to Jackson State or to Alcorn or the Mississippi, the Fighting Okra,
Delta State.
What can I do to get you to come to Itabena? Besides saying, hey, you most likely gonna start, but I don't know who you're gonna start with. So you got to think about it. Now the coach is gone. Valley got a few decent players. Are they gonna hit the portal?
Right. That's the question.
So that's a hard sell. I was really scratching my head. I'm like, okay, I know you only won a game or two, but are you really gonna risk it all in order to? I don't know what you're trying to attract. I was in Itabena for the Valley and Alcorn game. That's a hard sell, man. I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah. I know. I've been to Valley plenty of times, especially with my oldest daughter mother graduating from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a hard sell to get to get kids to come to Valley unless you, like he said in the last coach's call, like I had to go through the D2 ranks. I had to go through the JUCO ranks. I had to get kids from the high school. Now, getting the kids from the high school is good because you can develop them.
Yes. And I think that's what with the portal and all these people jumping around, I think that's what we losing focus of is development. You got a school like FAMU, 31 transfer players. You went 7-5. I think that you waited too late to get everybody in there, and you had a new head coach. And I kept saying to people, which head coach is going to buy into the players and vice versa? How are you going to really make an impact? And you only got like 3 or 4 months, really, of actual practice time before you get out there on that field and play.
Well, here you go. I think they said to Jerry and Williams hit the portal.
From Valley?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I don't think they did this coach any justice. Not only the coach, the program itself.
Thank you.
And the program itself has been struggling for years.
Thank you.
And you got one victory that the whole SWAC and FCS and really college football took it. You know, when Valley made the headline of defeating FAMU, everybody looked at that. Everybody. Now you fired the coach. So you got a new field. You got a new scoreboard. I got that. You starting to build. But you took away, to me, who I thought was one of the better coaches Valley had in the last few years and said, okay, we don't want you no more. So I'm telling you, Jerry Rice is not coming to coach at Valley. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know what you're thinking of. Ed Reed is not coming to Valley. Ray Lewis is not coming to Valley. Number one, you couldn't afford them. And number two, if they came there, they would want something similar to the facilities that Jackson State or Prairie View has, which we know Valley does not have that. So I think they put themselves in a bind to go for another 0-11, 0-12 season. What are you going to do now? Get his coach 2 years and get rid of him? So if we start that cycle of 2 years and you out, we going to be in some trouble. And I'm not talking about we as fans. I'm talking about we as people that support the student athletes of these colleges. Because it's going to be a coaching carousel. You know, so I don't like it. I understand why they wanted to get rid of him. But who are you going to get? I'm looking at what coach, even say if you wanted a coordinator from another SWAC school, what coordinator from a SWAC school would be like, yeah, I'm going to go coach at Valley? You see what I'm saying? So good luck to him. And you know, every week I'm going to tell you, Valley going to beat somebody. This year, I don't think Valley going to beat nobody this year coming up. So, but I mean.
This is crazy too. Blue just put it in there. He said that Wyatt Anderson is gone too.
See, it's just a downfall, man. You know, I tell people what Coach T.C. Taylor was able to do. That's homegrown talent within Jackson State. That man know Jackson, that area, like he was talking about these high school players and the state talent. That man he's SWAC, he's Jackson State. He knows that state. He knows that area. And a lot of people didn't want to believe in him. Now they got to sit back and just eat a whole bunch of crow. Because that man, what he was able to do with that loss of players that he had.
Yeah.
That, like I tell people, his defensive staff that he's put together. Now that's who I'm afraid that he's going to lose. Not this season, the end of next season. Coach Quinn, I believe his name, the defensive coordinator. Somebody's going to come get Coach Quinn. Let him go again. And for 6 or 7 games, stop people from scoring. You don't think that somebody gonna want him?
Oh, it's plenty of people that want him.
Yeah,
it's plenty of people that want him. Uncle Sid asked about what about Tony Hull from Pine Bluff, who's the offensive coordinator? Do you go into the backyard at Arkansas and pick him up?
To go to Valley?
I mean, he was at Grambling. He was at Grambling as an OC. He an OC at Pine Bluff. So it's one of the things where it's in a small town. Ain't too much around you. Do you get do the administration at Valley go after him? Do you interview him for a possible head coach job?
I would interview him, but I would tell him in that interview, that quarterback and wide receiver, can you bring them with me? Can you bring them to Valley?
They not coming. They not coming. They not coming.
See
They
what I'm
not
saying?
coming.
You see what I'm saying?
That was a one and done thing right there
Yeah.
for Pine Bluff. But do you go after him? Like, do you go to somebody that's in the Delta in the high school ranks in the Delta and say, hey, do you want the job at Mississippi Valley? Because at the end of the day, Valley is a stepping stone school.
Yes. Yes. They've regulated themselves to that. And you know, Valley tries to go up into like Chicago and that Midwest and try to get people. And it some come, but then some don't. I mean, I thought with the field and the scoreboard. Now I didn't see what they did so much with the weight room, but I'm like, okay, it's starting.
They starting to put it. They starting to piecing it together.
Yeah,
and that started under Hakeem McClellan, who was the AD at the time, and then he left to go.
Yeah,
he left to go down to Jackson. He
Yep.
with AD Robinson. So when you got one person that's the current AD, and you got another one that was a former AD. You got those two in the room, and they could put their minds together. Be like, man,
yeah.
that's a dangerous administration right there. But yeah, like I said, who do you get for Mississippi Valley to be the head coach? Now let's steer over to Prairie View, because I'm in the state of Texas.
Okay.
Prairie View, they let go Bubba McDowell, who was there for 3 years. He did win the SWAC. Did win the SWAC West. The one time, or was it twice? I think it was twice, wasn't it?
No, he won one.
He
and Dooley won before him.
For him, okay, so he won one. But you can say he won two because he was on staff.
He was on the staff. Yes,
he was on the staff as a defense coordinator. Who? Here's the thing: do you go to Baton Rouge and go pick up old Fred to come to Prairie View?
That was my first choice. See, not only can Coach McNair recruit, he can actually coach. Mm-hmm. Prairie View has the facilities, and Prairie View do not mind coming off a little money. You see what I'm saying? And so I think Prairie View can come with Fred, and I know they will give Fred longer than what they gave the past coach they had. Mm-hmm. The sale is, to me, to get him into Prairie View is how much control are you gonna give him?
Who you think, my boy Carlos Lowe's? Who you think Prairie View should go? Come after, like, for real, like,
he don't want Fred.
Well, he Texas Southern.
Of course he don't want Fred McNair. No, he don't want Fred McNair.
So like, if I'm Bubba, let's just say this: if I'm Bubba, do I go down the road to Houston and go on my best friend Chris Dishman? His staff?
Yeah. If I'm Coach Bubba McDowell, after I won the SWAC West Championship and you fired me the next season, yeah, I'm going to Texas Southern. Okay, yeah. And Chris Dishman, he might be on the hot seat. You gotta watch these SWAC schools now, man. So,
I can't put Chris Dishman on the hot seat just yet, because he went 5-6 in his first year, and nobody ever thought that he was gonna go 5-6. Like, he was a game away from being 500. That's the thing right there.
Yeah, he could have won the Southern game. They could have won the Southern game. They should
have won the Southern game.
Yeah.
But that was just coaching. That was a coaching mistake, and refs just effed that up right
there. Yeah,
yeah. But I can't put Chris Dishman on the hot seat just yet. Can he repeat? And I think he's going to go with a 12-game schedule, because he couldn't go with the 12-game schedule this season because he came in late. My man, he said, if I'm an AD, I'm looking for a great offensive coordinator. I need to score 35 plus points. Which,
And
um,
35. Yeah, bro. What type of athletes are you gonna get to be able to put up 35?
well, you look, come on now, man. We in the state of Texas.
Yeah,
He ain't number 50 miles. That if you get a coach that go to Prairie View, that comes in at Prairie View, he ain't got to go number 50 miles down the road to Houston
yeah.
and go pick some folks out. He could go up to Navasota. He could go up to Bryan, College Station. He can go to
East Texas
Austin
also.
in East Texas.
East Texas is a hotbed for talent, man.
Yeah, he go to East Texas, but the real hotbed really is in
Houston.
Texas.
Dallas. Yeah,
Dallas.
well, at Fort Worth area, hey man, Dallas, Carter, and all them schools up in there. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you could go up there, you go to Fort Worth, you go over North Crowley. They doing some things up there. Crowley High School doing some things. Of course, in the city, Dallas with South Oak Cliff, Kimball, Carter, like you said, Carter. Even with Samuel, like you go up there, you get some kids up there. Go to Eastern Hills over at East Side Fort Worth. Like you could go to these schools and come get some players to come play for you. Like you said, go to the East Texas area.
Yes.
Tyler, Longview, Marshall, Kilgore, Lufkin.
Yeah.
Those spots right there. You go get some players right there. But the thing is, who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the head coach of this team?
And
If this is my whole thing too. Do you keep the offensive coordinator in Anthony Whedon as an OC? Because because you gotta realize, look what he did look what he did at Campbell.
mm-hmm.
I think you can get somebody in there that can actually score, especially a quarterback, because that's what the issue was. The issue was quarterback. They shuffled their quarterbacks the whole time.
And see, that's why I think a coach like Coach Fred McNair can come up in there. He can work with these quarterbacks. He can actually develop these young kids. The quarterback play throughout the SWAC this year, except a few teams, was shaky. A lot was due to injuries now. Mm-hmm. But the second and third strings were just as shaky. So I think that now this is just me. I'm looking, y'all got a kid in Mississippi. He's from Laurel, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
He won a state championship as a ninth grader. I'd have been on this cat's behind. He a sophomore this year. I'd have been on that cat behind. I can't think of the name of the school, but I'd have been on that cat's behind since then. I think we got to start earlier recruiting. And I believe, and I'm not trying to say these kids are going to, if you give them a chance to go to Ole Miss or Alabama, they're going to turn it down. But these people from Ole Miss, Alabama, wherever, they start in the 7th and the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the SWAC got to do a better job at that. And I'm like, come on, man, because a lot of these kids are in your home backyard. Because I'm telling you, that kid from Laurel, I watched him play, and I thought this kid was like a junior. They said, man, that kid in the 9th grade. And they went undefeated, not this year, but last year, and won the state. They called him Tootie or Toonti or something. I can't remember his name. But I'm like, who's looking at this kid? Lo and behold, Alabama was at the game. I said, see, why can't you send your recruits down there? If I'm Jackson State, Alcorn Valley, not recruit, my scout or whatever, I'm going to talk to the parents. Yeah. First of all, before I get into even talk to the kid, I want to talk to these parents. Because a lot of these parents are easily to be impressed. And long as them kids are getting out of their house and they're going to school for free, that's what a lot of parents want. Yeah. The ones that I talk to, hey, I ain't got to worry about paying for this boy to go to no college. Because I spend all my money sending the football camps or buying cleats or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my things that I always wanted to ask the SWAC. How far are you recruiting out? Are you waiting till their senior year, or you looking at them 10th grade, 11th grade, 9th grade? So I think that's a big problem too, because a lot of these, I'm in New Orleans. Yeah. A lot of these kids don't get looked at until after basically signing day or right before signing day.
Oh yeah, you talk. He said Square. He said the quarterback from West Jones in
That's him.
Laurel.
Yeah, that kid. He know what I'm talking about. That little kid is bad. And I'm like, damn, get on him, somebody. You know, New Orleans, we had the best player in the country. And they took him from St. Aug, the Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
and sent him to that private school down there in Florida mid-season.
IMG.
Yeah, IMG Academy.
Mm.
I said, man, now I talked to his folks. I said, which SWAC school has contacted him? Said none. This is the best player in the nation. Big old kid. I'm like, nobody has looked at him. She said, nope. She said, she's like LSU come to my house damn near once a month. I said, oh. I said, now I don't know if he's gonna go to LSU. I don't know where he's gonna go to school. Because I'm like, how y'all move him? This is in the middle of the football season, they moved that young man. And a lot of people was happy. I'm sitting there like shaking my head, like, no, you setting a bad precedence in my eyes. You know, if IMG knew this kid was this good last year, why you ain't getting it then?
Right, yeah. Why you ain't get him at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, you wait till middle of the season to mess up. You know, they was gonna probably win state with this kid. So it's a lot of that stuff going on, man. And I think the SWAC coaches, if we can get something stable, like Coach T.C. Taylor, because now I predicted Jackson State to win the SWAC a long time ago. I'm talking beginning of the season.
Yeah, I remember.
Now Jackson State is gonna be the standard for the SWAC. A lot of people, I know the other level schools don't want to hear this, but they're gonna be the standard. You got a great AD, you got a great head coach, you got coordinators, defensive coordinator, you got the crowd, you got the attendance. That is what folks are gonna try to strive for. So it's gonna be a lot of coaches gonna be like, can I compete against this? I think I can, but reality hits, then damn, Jackson State is just that good. Because trust me, that early signing class y'all had yesterday, y'all got that kid from Oak Grove. That's my size, 6'1", 220. That's me, and I'm kicking 50. That kid is 18. That's a beast that you got there, man. Now you going to the SWAC, and I keep telling them, you develop these kids at the SWAC. Those big PW 4 or 5 kids, they expect them to know everything when they get there. A lot of them do. They play on raw talent. But in the SWAC, you can see the development. Your quarterback, Morgan, from the beginning of the season, I take one game, Grambling game. That kid looked confused as hell. But from
because at the time when in that game, Jason Rollins, when I talked to him, he was on the coach's call. He threw a lot of blitzes, and he threw a lot of coverages.
Yes,
in that game, and that's the reason why they had we had the 5 turnovers, the 3 fumbles, and the 2 interceptions. So when you think about it, like he threw a lot of schemes at Jack, at us as far as when it came to the quarterback position.
But look how he matured. Look how he matured from that game to the Alabama State game.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. It's called developing. And that's what I like about your quarterback. Alabama State might have sacked you 7 times, but he threw touchdowns that game. Think about that.
Right.
That's the development. That's the development I'm talking about. And I think that's what whoever goes to Perry View definitely needs a quarterback.
Right.
And if it ain't Coach Fred McNair, I don't know who they're going to get.
That's the question. Who are they going to get? Now, let's move over to Alabama A&M. They already, one of our favorite coaches, who was really the elder statesman of the SWAC.
7 years.
7 years, they let him go. And like I said, most people said that he not gonna go. He get a 7-5 record or a 6-6 record. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing that he did not do after the COVID year, right? For one, you haven't beaten Jackson State in 4 years.
Yep.
2, you lost the Magic City Classic 3 years in a row.
Yep.
3, you get mollywopped by FAMU for the last 3 years.
Yep.
All right. So and so those three teams right there are all in your division
Yes.
by itself. And
Yeah.
and it just festered. Second of all, your defense was pretty much almost poop cheese. You was midway or towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, what do you? I mean, what can you do? The bringing in the 29 FBS transfers that was at 20. Was it 21 or
Yeah.
22? And you still it didn't amount to anything as far as bringing in all the defensive players from the transfer portal. It
Mm.
still didn't amount to anything. It's going to be called for a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And I caution people about these transfer portal players. Some of these, you're not going to get a Phillip Webb every time you go into the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these players come with baggage. Some of them come with egos. Some of them come just because they can come.
Mm-hmm.
I play here, so I know I can play here. Something that work ethic, whether it's in the classroom or on the field, does not translate a lot into SWAC culture on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
So that portal is a hit and miss. Some of them players have to believe into the system. Now, and Coach Maynard, like I told the most charismatic coach we didn't had in a long time, man.
Yeah,
and
the other one, only the other one that was charismatic was Dion.
that's it. I mean, so the charismatic was there. Now the alumni wanted more, but you name the teams: Jackson State, FAMU, Alabama State. You've been open for quite a while against these teams.
And then losing to Southern too, because remember they haven't beaten Southern in like 8 years.
And losing to Southern. So now I've seen it myself. Now Ed Reed was sniffing around there, so I was like, oh boy, here we go. But now let me say this: I want that celebrity coach to bring me money, but I don't want you to come up in here with all that other stuff. I know that ain't right. I know that ain't gonna happen. So, but if you do get a celebrity coach, if he starts winning, he's gone. Not everybody's gonna do like Eddie George and say, "Hey, no, I'm staying."
Right.
I think somebody like Ed Reed, I think he's bigger than Alabama A&M. But to replace Maynard, you have an offense that can score right now. But to replace Maynard, you're gonna have to. How can I put it? You replace Maynard, you're gonna have to beat those three schools you named: Alabama State, Jackson State, or FAMU. You have to beat one of them your first year.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's what the athletic director should be telling you. Beat one of the three. Get these folks off my back. Get me more than 8,000 fans in my seats. We need some. And see, that's another thing. Hey, usually when you get a new coach, everybody all excited. The fans gonna come out. You might get a good victory or two, and then it mellows out. Now you get a new coach, ain't nobody coming. Everybody want to get rid of their coach. So if you don't get Ed Reed at Alabama A&M, I don't know who you gonna actually can get. I mean, Talladega ain't a bad place, but it ain't somewhere where I want to go for 4 years now. So, so that's a good question. I don't know who outside of Ed Reed, I don't know who would want to come down there. I mean, and then like I said, Coach Maynard won 100 games. Not all at Alabama A&M, but he won 100 games. Now you all won't be up against him now. Yeah, but the thing is, beat one of those three schools, we got to start. All you got to do is beat one. And
really, you want to beat you want to beat your rival first before.
You want to beat Alabama. You want to win that Magic City Classic. You want to win that game. But Coach Eddie Robinson, they ain't letting him go nowhere. Now, if he can find a quarterback, Alabama A&M gonna be in some trouble again.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. With E-Rod, he got to win the East next season, or he's literally gonna be on that hot seat. Well, and don't get me wrong, he's won He won 6 games and he won 7 games. He won 6 games his first year. He won 7 games last season. He won what? 7 games this season.
Yeah. I mean, they should have beat FAMU. They quarterback issue, man. But I just don't see him beating Jackson State in Jackson next year. No. That's to me, Jackson State will play harder that game because they beat them for homecoming. 2 years ago? They beat them for homecoming. Beat Jackson State for homecoming. So that's gonna be a little payback now. This season was payback, but next season, oh no, you came in here and beat us. So I don't see him doing that because of his quarterback issues. So get back to Alabama A&M. If I'm not mistaken, Alabama A&M, are they gonna do the Gulf Coast Challenge again with Jackson State and Mobile, or are they gonna come to?
It's
Jackson?
different. It's different now.
Okay.
Yeah, we done going to Mobile.
Yeah,
playing.
I think that was a waste of a great game, but I think it was just a waste of hey, we could have made that money. I'd rather travel to Talladega or travel to Jackson. And I'm not knocking Mobile or nothing like that, but when you don't have a SWAC school in that area, unless it's Atlanta, what are you really gaining? I mean, I think 8,000-9,000 people at that game. One of them had 5,000. I'm like, man, ain't nobody here for this, man. So, but whoever takes over Alabama A&M, your offense can score, but you cannot rely on that portal to come in and put these defensive players up in there if they don't have the right mind frame. So you got to get you somebody that can actually develop on defense. Everybody in the SWAC is running a 4-2-5 defense, a basic defense. Now, blitzing is a little different. Sometimes they run a 4-3 or 4-4. You're going to have to get somebody and be able to stop the run at Alabama A&M, because they was atrocious for giving up runs. A lot of people in the SWAC was. But that's one of their things. And a quarterback. Coach Maynard had 2 different quarterbacks. So you're going to have a lot of schools that's going to be struggling. Not struggling. They're going to have a quarterback competition, I should say. Except for like Jackson State. Even Southern. Southern going to have a quarterback competition. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, because they got 3 of them.
3 of them. All 3 of them. And you put all 3 of them together, and they still might make one. Because they all 3 have some crazy stuff going on. And I'm not knocking Southern, because you found a way to win with 3 quarterbacks, which I've never seen done before. You had 3 different quarterbacks, and you still won the West. So I really believe Alabama, and getting back to them, I believe they have the right offense in place when it comes to coaching. And look, signing day is what a month away, or a little bit more than a month away. So
yeah, it's in really like close to 2 months.
The end of February, yeah. What middle of February, close to February,
beginning of February.
Yeah. So my thing is, I understand you give these coaches the pink slips and you fire them. Are y'all interviewing, or y'all got somebody? I've not heard anything. You about to go up on the holidays. How good are you going to be able to get those recruits that was maybe committed to your school to stay? Are you out there talking right now? I mean, because like I tell you, Valley would be on my last right now. Hey, man, you ain't got a coach. Prairie View, you ain't got a coach. Alabama A&M, you ain't got a coach. I'm not even looking at y'all 3. Now, if they was to say that they had somebody or they was interested in somebody, or you just really going to sit back and wait until whatever young man wants to come to the HBCU and the SWAC level, all them people get their people, then be like, okay, now I'm the coach and I take whatever you give me. Because that's what it's giving right now. Unless something happens within the next week, they start announcing coaches. Because I've asked all kind of alumni from all the schools, who y'all looking at? They don't know. Nobody can tell me. And so I ask people in the comments, who do y'all think y'all looking at? And I mean, like I said, if I was one of the 3 schools right now, was it Prairie View, Alabama A&M, and Valley, I would have been knocking on Coach Fred McNair as soon as I would have said, you fired. Fred should have been the hottest damn name smoking right now.
Right.
You gotta look at his body of work. before Jackson State went back to back, Alcorn was going back to back in the SWAC, winning SWAC championships. Now they wasn't winning the Celebration Bowl, but they was winning the SWAC though. So, and if you can take Alcorn, now that's a hard sell too. I told people I went to Lorman a couple of times, and the last time I went, hell no. I'm not spending 3 hours in the car trying to get out that little damn road. No more. No more. So if you can get somebody to come there and you can win a SWAC championship in Lorman, think about what he can do at Prairie View. What they spend down there on them facilities down there, what, almost 19 million, something like that? Somebody from Prairie View tell me if I'm making this number up. It's like $19 million in upgrades that Prairie View has spent. So you got the money. So if you ain't looking at Fred McNair, who you looking at? I hope you don't think that you're gonna go to Jackson State and get Coach Quinn. That ain't happening. I think Jackson State would tell the roof off that sucker Coach Quinn lead. Mm-hmm. So and think about it. You got the other schools. 5 new head coaches. So they ain't going nowhere. I mean, now I'm gonna tell you who I wouldn't get and I would not get, and no disrespect to him, but Coach Dooley, no sir.
Nah.
No, sir. And I am not disrespecting you, Coach. Go ahead on retire, sir.
It's time to go. Retire the Gucci suits.
Retire them Gucci suits, ass crawls, them gators. Go ahead on, brother. It's a wrap. But somebody will go look at Dooley, and I just hope it ain't Port Valley. so I don't know, man. This is a time because I'm like, man, as long as I've been watching SWAC football, I ain't never seen 8 coaches go like this, man. I'm like,
so with me, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to Alabama A&M, I'm going down the road to get Sam Shade and Miles.
Oh,
that'd be the first person. That would be my. Yes. That'll be the first person on. That'll be the first person on my list.
Yeah,
don't talk to that man.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna cut you off, but you know what? He beat Eddie Robinson 2 years ago at Miles.
At Miles.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Oh yeah, I forgot all about him.
If Coach Quinn leave for somewhere like Prairie View, he gonna be in heaven because he in the Houston area.
Yeah,
it'd be in the Houston area. So my last one, because I got to get ready to jump off this thing so I can get ready for work.
Okay.
But my last one, which should have been done, like as soon as the football season was over with, is North Carolina A&T with Vincent Brown. He went 2-21. All right.
Yeah. He should have been fired through mid-season. Yeah. Now, somebody like Ray Lewis, I think they'll open up the wallet for him.
I don't know if he's gonna go. I don't know if he's gonna go to East Greensboro like that.
Hey, I'm telling you, I think Ray is thirsty for some action like that. See, and A&T. You got to go look at that old homecoming. They call it the greatest homecoming on earth. And that game right there, I ain't gonna lie. The time I was up there, time I was up there, I was impressed. I said, "Damn," But they were horrible as a football team. So I'm like, "Damn, y'all got everything except the football team." So if he don't go there, but then again, just like what was it? The other team that fired Odoms. I mean,
Norfolk State.
Norfolk State. Hey, I'm like, hey man, I don't know, but I just think you got to have whoever the AD gets, he's going to have to talk to the boosters. He's going to have to talk to the fans and the alumni and say, look, let us cook. We can't do what Coach T.C. Taylor did at Jackson State. We gonna try. But we can't promise you in 2 years we're going to be undefeated in the conference. I think that's a lot that has to go with it. I understand people want to win and they tired of losing, but you got to start from somewhere. And I don't think that they going to – a lot of these schools are not going to give these coaches an opportunity because they tired of seeing them schools win 4 or 5 games or, 6 or 7. I think it's just a lot of hate. We can't win, so I'm mad. And which I understand. So A&T should be a good job though for somebody. Because you're recruiting against what? South Carolina State,
Central.
Central, no, North Carolina Central. Oh, I forgot about them. Yeah, Central.
So my thing is the person I had on my list for that would be Sean Gibbs. Came up from under the Broadway tree. Was the running backs coach, and I think he was OC for Sam Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And he left to go to Fort Valley, and he basically turned Fort Valley around. Man, with I think he's like 23 and either 23 or 8, 23 and 9 at Fort Valley. So he's done a great job down at Fort Valley State in Division II ranks. If I'm looking like you gotta like think about Sean Gibbs, because if AD Sykes would have pulled the trigger on Sean Gibbs at FAMU,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it'll be
a different FAMU football team. I agree with you on that one. It would have been a different one.
It would have been a different football team.
And hopefully, I'm glad you was talking about D2 coaches. Hopefully, the SWAC will start looking at these D2 coaches a lot more once you start this replacement stuff. Because apparently, and ain't no apparently, the records show these D2 coaches know how to coach. And I believe it's easy to get these young men to buy into these coaches like that.
Right.
But you got to give them a chance. I like I say, I don't. Damn if you do, damn if you don't with the celebrity coaches. But hell, if you want to win, if you want to build a program, you might want to look within your own program, or you look at somebody that can recruit and develop. Because if not, if you can't recruit and develop, every 2 years we're gonna be up on here.
So my thing is, we gonna finish off with this. I've always said that Ed Reed or Ray Lewis, Michael Vick, to me, they ain't celebrity coaches. They're they were great football players. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis being Hall of Famers, being teammates for like 12 years. They were great football players. Dion is a celebrity because he did everything to keep his marketed himself. He was a brand.
Yes,
he did music, he did the TV, the reality TV and stuff like that. He is a celebrity coach. All right. Now that does not take anything away from him, because when once he finished playing, he went into coaching. He went into coaching as far as with Pop Warner and stuff like that. And then I don't even want to talk about Prime Prep Academy, because that irritated my soul, because my two cousins, both of my cousins went to school there, and they was shafted because they had to go. Once they closed the school down, they had to go back to their respective high schools.
Yeah.
But to me, he's the only celebrity coach. So anybody talk about Ed Reed, the celebrity coach, I don't care. He ain't no celebrity coach. He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer player. He was a great player for the Baltimore Ravens, and he is in the Hall of Fame. Do we know he can coach? We don't know. I don't know. So, but if I'm like what Jared Hoffman said yesterday, why don't he just get on somebody's staff, start off as a position coach or a coordinator position, work your way up, because there are a lot of other coaches that's in this realm that has been waiting their lifetime to become a head coach of a football program.
Yeah.
Sit down somewhere, learn. Like literally learn. And Timona said this: if the Power 5 haven't came and got you, or the Power 4, really I don't even call it Power 4. I call it the Big 2, because there ain't number 2 strong conferences in
SEC and Big 10.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
if the big two ain't called you, your friend Dion ain't called you. To me, start from the bottom. Become a position coach. Do like Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp got called. He from your alma mater. He from the U.
Yep.
Guess what? He's a defensive analyst, but he out there teaching them kids how to
Technique.
technique.
Development. It's
He's
development.
doing, yeah, it's his apartment.
Yeah.
Do that. Because do that. Go that route. Go that route in the big four or or the group of five. You know what I'm saying? Then if you feel like you are ready to be a head coach of an HBCU, put your name in the hat. Let's see what your resume is.
Because he can go to Miami right now and be the secondaries coach. Right now.
But Miami ain't even called him.
Yeah. Wow. Well, then again, Ed, he from around here. He from the Ninth Ward. Now, that's why I tell him, I say, he throwed off. Always been thrown off to me now. So I think a lot of that has to do with why he really ain't got that call.
Right.
And then, with Bethune did not help him at all. That debacle there. And
he messed that up for himself.
Yeah.
You went there too early. You haven't signed your contract. Bethune was getting ready to ratify it. You go on live and you trash the school.
Yeah. So that might throw him back a few more years. Might. But some of these, coaches or wannabe coaches got so much ego. And when you coaching, man, your ego can get you fired just as fast as it got you hired. And some of them don't believe it.
Right.
I mean, hey, some of these schools will pay you millions of dollars to not be around their program anymore.
Well, you said ego get you hired, or ego get you fired. You know one that his ego got him fired.
Yeah.
Name is Eric Dooley.
You right.
He got him fired.
That ego, that Ashcroft, that scarf he had on was so tight around his neck. I said, "What is Dooley doing?" Then they showed his shoes. I said, "Man, this man went to Saks Fifth Avenue and got the cleanest pair of gaiters that you can find to go coach college football." And I said, "Man, come on, Ed." I said, "Man, come on, Dooley, man." So, but the thing is, with Dooley, somebody's always calling him.
Yeah, somebody's gonna call him.
And that's the crazy part. I'm like, why would you call this man? What has he done in the last 5 years, man? Besides destroying from program, well, not destroy, but he ain't help him. I should say. I ain't gonna say destroy. He just ain't help him. And so, I really hope Alabama A&M don't call Dooley. I really hope they don't. If they call Dooley, they gonna be worse when Coach Maynard left him. I'm telling you that right now. So, that's just my take on that, man. But I like what you were saying about them D2 coaches, because them D2 games, man, they don't get a lot of shine anyway. But HBCU Go shows them, and I watch a lot of them on the replay, and I'm like, these dudes out there, they're a little small, but them dudes got some heart, and you can tell coaches are out there coaching.
Right. You got coaches like we're gonna end this here. You got coaches like Teddy Keaton at Clark Atlanta, Maurice Flowers at Johnson C. Smith, your Sam Shade at Miles. You got what's the head coach? I forgot the head coach over at Winston-Salem, but he did a hell of a job this past season. You had of course your Sean Gibbs, your Quinn Graves over at Albany State that did a hell of a job this season. Their names will be looking at to try to come up to the Division I HBCU spot. So
hopefully some of these SWAC schools pick them up. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'd rather see those coaches that you named get a shot than a Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, or a Dooley. I'm being serious when I say that. I'd rather see one of them coaches, because I'm like, man, we got to get back to some fundamentals and some basics, man. And I'm like, are we really developing, or are we just sitting there waiting on the portal to give us something? And you ain't get these kids nowhere because hell, they look crazy. Some of them look crazy. Some of them swag schools look crazy out there this year because you threw together so much too fast.
Right.
Like I tell folks, man, this just me. If the portal opens up, whenever it opens up, come January, those kids need to be on that campus and they need to be able to do OTH, other team activities. I ain't saying they gotta get familiar with themselves, with the new players. It takes a while for a football team to come together.
Yeah.
And you put people in there that's coming in, May, June, July, and then you think you're gonna be ready to play by August? No. So that's just my opinion. I know that's wishful thinking because the NCAA and everybody else like, no, you can't have them doing this, that, and the third. But you got spring training. See what I'm saying? I think if you're in a portal go to a school, you need to be able to play in that spring game. That's just my opinion. If you don't, maybe you need to sit out a year, which some players might benefit from sitting out a year. But then again, these kids want to play or just want to be out there. So
with Marshall Faulk, he got to go. To me, he got to go. He got to go in a role with a position coach as a position coach or a coordinator position. I cannot see him being a full blown head coach. My thing, it's just the first, Black Friday. Black Monday was this past Monday. And I call it Pink Slip Wednesday because they was handing them out left and right to yesterday.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just looking at it to where let's get these dudes in here, get your coaches in here, try to let them develop their staff, let them get the kids that they need, and let them cook in the kitchen. Kind of like what Bill Parcells said. If you ain't gonna let me cook in the kitchen, then why I can't buy my own groceries? So
they got to get a coach. All three schools need to have a coach by this week. I mean, by next week.
By next week.
You know what I'm saying? The day Thursday. By next Thursday, they need to have somebody in there. If not, you gonna be so far behind the power curve. And depending on what coach you got, some players from the portal may not want to come there.
Right.
So that's another thing you got to think about. And then good luck trying to get these alumni off you.
Yep. And so then too, here's what you need to do. Look at what Eddie George has done.
Yes.
He's been at Tennessee State for 4 years. Was he on the hot seat for a minute? Yes, he was. He was on the hot seat from last season because of way he finished. Look what he did this season. The man went 9-4.
See,
went 9-4. Was this close to beat Montana in Montana if they did not kick to the damn best kick punt returner in all of NCAA football? And guess what? He loves Nashville. He ain't no celebrity head coach. That man was just a great NFL player who had immersed himself in a city for over 25 years. And the school asked him to be the head coach. He didn't go ask the school to be a head coach. They came to Dr. Glenda Glover.
Yes.
Who was the president of Tennessee State University and also the Grand Basilius of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Went to him because he used to do her books as far as accounting and everything, and asked him to be a head coach. And 4 years later, that man has done a hell of a job at Tennessee State, and we're going to end it right there. Pro, I appreciate you for joining me today. Man. I'll be in Jackson tomorrow. So okay. I said this, I wasn't going to do no show until this weekend, but I did one today. I'll be in Jackson. I'm just waiting on for them to send the credentials. I did. Here's the funny thing, y'all. I got my credentials for Radio Row at the Celebration Bowl. That's on Friday. Miss Michelle, who does all the media thing for the Celebration Bowl, I got approved for credentials, media credentials for the game on the Saturday, on the 14th. Only thing is, if I go, I've been traveling back, I've been on the road back to back, coming from Dallas, and of course I work in retail, so it's blackout period. So I don't know that, the whole thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go, from my boss, and of course I gotta try to raise more money just to get down there and everything. But I did get those credentials. I did get approved for those credentials. I was, I was pretty much elated about that. So I'm just waiting on for Mr. Travis and then with the swag. I think they're gonna do it tonight.
All right then. Well, I want to say this before you let me go. Hey, if you're not going to the game Saturday, I will be live streaming 10 minutes before kickoff, and you can watch the game here with me. So,
all right. Y'all heard it. Make sure y'all tune in. If you ain't watching on ESPN2, tune in to my man Orange on his channel. Make sure you get your popcorn ready, get your drinks, because it's gonna be one hell of a game on Saturday, man. I appreciate you for joining me today, and I'll holler at you later. And everybody else, man, y'all be easy, be blessed, stay safe, hug your loved ones. We'll see y'all on Saturday. We out this thing. Peace and be easy.